Hey, hello everyone. Happy to kind of welcome you all to the session, the main session around sales as part of the Microsoft Business Application Summit. My name is Amit, and I'm a group program manager in Microsoft, and I'm owning product management for Dynamics 365 for sales. With me on this session would be Bharat, who's a senior PM in our group who drives some of our core features. And together we're going to try and use the next 30 minutes to kind of show you some of the key innovation that we have in place for you guys to kind of use. So just kind of some housekeeping and what we're planning to do. So first of all, I'm joining you, like most of you, I'm joining you from my home office, and so I need to, from the beginning, kind of say that if there is any unexpected children jumping by and stuff, that's I'm sorry for that in advance. As for the agenda for today, we're going to go by first talking about some of the key trends that were kind of impacting the sales domain for a while now, and obviously how those are kind of coming together with COVID-19 impact. That's obviously a fundamental shift also in the sales domain and has a lot of things to consider. Then we're going to go and talk from there about some of the core pillars of digital sales and what does it really mean when you kind of work from home and try and deliver on a true sales, great sales experience. And then in the end or in the back of it, we're going to have some Q&A to obviously address any questions you guys have for us and stuff that you want to discuss. So without further ado, let's start kind of our discussion. So, we talk a lot in the sales domain about that customer journey change that had happened in, the last, 5 to 10 years. Significant motion into, customer being the king of it all. Customer has the knowledge of it all. Customers talk to sellers. Very little time with the sellers themselves. It's only in the end of the kind of decision buying process. We also talk in the B2B domain about that, about the environment being more complex for B2B sellers. There's more buyers on the receiving end. There's much more, they tend to be much more diverse. So you need to be able to have a conversation with different people from different kind of backgrounds. Your buyers on the B2B sales domain is also kind of waiting for a B2C experience, not surprisingly, right? Very much like, consumerization of IT, when people want the same experience they have on their iPhone from the business application, the buyers also, expect the same behavior they get, when they are out shopping for themselves to what they get as a company. And then the last, very obvious thing here is that they want to be able to be served through, the latest and greatest digital experiences, very much like we, do as consumers. So all of that are key trends that have been impacting that industry, our industry, for a while now. Now, Bharat, can we move to the next slide, please? So when we talk about sales and we're trying to kind of identify how do sellers sell, right? We used to be very focused on in the B2B domain on what we call relationship selling. Though that type of selling, very prevalent today, is very much based on building strong, lasting relationship with your customers, serving them over time, and mainly, based on those relationships, deliver new services and new capability. They also kind of they're almost a necessity when you talk about a long sales cycle with lots of decision maker and all of that. Then we also started to see more and more coming from the B2C domain, the requirement for self-serve. That was, originally started from kind of partner serving through PRM solution, and then gradually kind of came to full B2B e-commerce experiences that are now kind of part of the story. Again, usually more relevant for simpler product, with a transaction-based relationship that is being built there. And between those two, we've been seeing a growing trend to start executing on a new type of selling motion that we kind of refer to as scale selling. That scale selling or velocity type selling is basically, it's an evolution of what we used to refer to as just pure inside sales. But now it's not just focused on, lead conversion or some call center cold calling. It's actually sellers that run the whole sales cycle. The key difference between them and the relationship seller, though, is that you see a much, much greater degree of interaction with much greater amount of customers on a daily basis. We're talking about, the many to many to many kind of scenario here. Just kind of one point here is that domain itself, the requirement for sellers and the demand for them in market is actually 15 times bigger than any type of other sales motion. And that domain specifically is also highly digital, based on the fact that they need to interact with a lot of people. Next slide, please, Bharat. So how do we treat digital sales, and obviously, talking about digital sales, if a few months back was still, we still probably needed to kind of explain to people, what does it mean and why is that important. But I think kind of COVID's impact on most of our lives and, sellers' life and customers' life kind of took away some of the need to explain this, right? The ability to engage, collaborate with customer remotely has become the life of every seller today, right? The understanding of your customer, the ability to build relationship and strengthen them over time without having that physical contact, that's another key aspect of that selling motion, which we need good capabilities and good tools to deliver on. We also, when we do that type of selling, because of the velocity of it, because of the need also to sometimes manage a team that is spread, and it's not all we're not all sitting in the same office. We need an ability to kind of understand where we are from perspective of hitting our targets. We need to constantly reevaluate some of our quota and forecasting assumptions, and see that we're always in the right place when it comes to meeting our targets as sellers. And then the last piece, which is probably one of the most important one, is that selling in such environment require a heavy dose of ability to react to your environment, to react to changes in that environment, and mainly the ability for you as an organization to guide sellers throughout those different changes that can happen in the sales cycle. All of those key trends are impacting the sales domain. So how do we activate digital selling? What are the core pillar of that type of selling motion? And so when we talk about digital selling, we talk about a simple engagement platform. I'm sitting at home. I need to be able to, engage my customers. I need to be able to, pick up the phone and call them. I need to be able to send an email, send an SMS, and do all of that in a context of who's the next customer I need to talk to, and then an understanding of who is that customer? What do I know about them? Again, remember this need to also run in scale, right? Running in scale always also kind of implies that you don't always know all of those customers very well, but they, on the receiving end, are still expecting to get a very personalized experience. So the way you actually, the way for us to kind of, mitigate that gap that we see here is by giving them a full context of the customer and what they've been going through. Then, once I know who I need to interact with and I have the capability to interact, I also need those guided selling tools. I need to have the right content in the right time. I need to be able to get the right deck to present to the right customer, or just the right insight about that customer or recent activity that happened with them. And all of that needs to happen while I'm looking at that customers, while I'm having that conversation. So I'm actually making the most out of every engagement. And then, as I mentioned before, the last piece of that is that we as an organization need to be able to monitor those sales conversations. We need to be able to look in real time into our forecasting and pipeline management, and all of the time take all of those signals in order to make an informed decision about how well we are how well we are suited to meet our goals and get to our quota. So all of those three pillars are what we're going to cover. The way we're going to go through it is that I'm going to talk about it quickly and kind of describe the feature for you, and then Bharat is going to show you an amazing demo of how this technology is actually working. So let's start with the simple engagement platform, and I want to basically kind of introduce to you guys a brand new launch that we just brought to market this month. It's a new experience for digital selling called Sales Accelerator. The Sales Accelerator is basically a digital seller's dream come true. We combine in it the ability to always see an intelligent work queue that always kind of work for you and assemble that line of next best customers and help you kind of be on top of who the customers you want to be talking to next. Then we also give you within the same experience a holistic view of your customer, the understanding of who they are, what was happening with them recently, what you should be kind of doing with them next, and then a lot of other recommendation and insight in that context, so you are fully ready to be able to have that meaningful conversation with them. We also, because we're talking sometimes on a scale type selling motion, we also try and automate certain things for you by introducing sequences. You can actually predefine certain rules and logic that's going to create those next best activities, and also sometimes completely automate them to begin with. So a certain template would already be filled. And then the last piece for this is that omni-channel experience. And we don't just refer to the ability to launch a phone and dial. We also talk about kind of closing the loop there. So if you send an email or you pick up the phone and call somebody, we automatically capture that conversation. We transcribe it. We save it back into CRM, and we allow you to then go and obviously edit that, hear the playback of that conversation, understand what were the keywords. We extract key action item from it, so you know that you can, what you need to do as a follow-up. And then you obviously can go back to it in every given point of time, even when you prepare for the next call, just to look at what happened in the last conversation and see. Without further ado, I'm going to give it away to Bharat to show you an amazing demo of this experience. Take it away, Bharat.
Thanks, Amit. Hello all. In this demo, we are going to be looking at how the new Sales Accelerator features in Dynamics 365 for Sales helps sales teams focus on the right customers and win more deals. I'm logged in as Anna into the sales application. As an inside sales rep, Anna usually has three main objectives. One, every day when she logs into the application, she wants to prioritize her customers and figure out who she needs to focus on so that we can win the most deals in the week or the month. Second, once she identifies a specific customer to work with, she wants to identify where they are in the sales cycle, what happened with them in past engagements, and what next steps to take the deal to completion. And finally, once she has identified the next steps, she wants to get in touch with a customer. This could be over a call, it could be over email, it could be over any channel. She wants to get in touch with the customer, have a conversation, take notes, and identify next steps. Let's see how the new Sales Accelerator helps Anna accomplish these objectives. When Anna logs into the sales application with the Sales Accelerator, she has the work list, which is already prioritized for her. The Sales Accelerator provides a consolidated list of all her customers, her leads and opportunities, and already prioritizes it based on AI and insights. So Anna does not need to spend any time trying to come up with priorities and figure out who to work with herself. She has that list already with her to begin her day. When she chooses a lead to work with, in this case, Helen, Anna can quickly get a glimpse of where Helen is in the sales cycle in a single page. She has all the demographic details and information that Helen had provided in the past. She sees a timeline of all engagements that have happened in the past, along with all the notes that had been provided by her sales team. She also sees the lead score, explaining why this lead is suited to be worked on right now instead of the other lead, and what are the chances of converting this lead. She also has insights coming from the assistant of the different responses that this lead has had on the collateral that has been shared. So these provide sort of talking points to Anna when she gets in touch with the customer. Now, equipped with all these insights and information, Anna feels very comfortable about reaching out to Helen. So what should she do next? That's where the cadences help Anna. They provide the specific sequence of steps which have been identified as sort of best practices by her organization and are available to her as a sequence of steps for her to complete with this customer. The action that Anna needs to take with this customer that comes recommended from the sequences is to have a call or a conversation with this customer about the product. To call the customer, Anna just needs to click on the call button, and that would launch the dialer from within the Dynamics sales application. So she can accomplish ramping up about the customer and reaching out to them all from within the sales accelerator. And once she is done with her call with the customer, she can quickly take some notes and add those notes to the timeline so that the next time she comes to work on this lead, those notes would be available to her as well. When her task with this customer is complete, Anna can just mark this action, this lead as this task has been completed and move on to the next work item. The sales accelerator closes the current work item and quickly opens up the next work item for Anna to focus on. For the next customer, Anna sees that she needs to be sending out an email. She can click on the email button to quickly launch the email designer with the recommended template already filling in all the content. All she needs to do is click on the send button within the email designer to send out this email. We can see how the sales accelerator simplifies Anna's efforts and automates much of the overhead process like prioritizing and figuring out what templates to use and what content to share. All that Anna needs to do is get in touch with the customer and present the right information to close the deals. I will now hand it back to Amit to talk about more of our investments. Amit, back to you to talk about our further investments.
Thank you, Barak. Great demo, and thank you for kind of showing all of this great experience in real time. So let's talk about the next pillar of our efforts and what kind of help bring that whole story to life. So we've seen Anna seeing her work here. We've seen the fact that Anna can get the next best activity to take with this customer, and then this holistic view. What we also seen in that view is something we call the assistant that gave Anna a bunch of recommendations and gave us signals about what's going on with this customer in kind of near real time. So let's talk through this and explain what that capability was and how that kind of is designed to support organization. I think we, all of us that spend some time in the sales domain are all familiar with guided selling solution. We had a bunch of them. They're actually existing from the early ages of the sales domain, and some of them kind of manifest themselves in in business process that we kind of provided, and some of them have manifested themselves through certain kind of pop-ups that kind of give seller recommendation about what they should do, what they should say in conversation. But the problem with most of the technology that we had so far in the industry to do guided selling is that all of it was internal facing. All of that technology was based on the fact that we know what is the next best action without even understanding what the customer is going through, right? So we kind of put in place a linear process that the seller needs to take, but we never took into it a signal from what's actually going on with this customer, what's happening in that engagement, what can we receive and help guide the seller to the right thing. The Assistant Studio, as has been shown here, is that exact capability. It's the ability to build logic on top of external and internal signal, on top of the business process flow, but also on your website visits and any other signal that you can bring in, and then pull all of that together into some logic that defines for the seller, what type of action they need to take, what notification maybe they need to be aware of, and then also build a bunch of insights that helps them with kind of being on top of what's going on with their customer base. Those suggestions and actions are not just easy to build and then being shown to the customer, to the seller. They're always being shown both in a global context and in the context of a specific thing I'm trying to do. So if I'm walking into a meeting with the customer, I'm going to get messages that are relevant for that meeting. If I'm opening my day and I want to see everything that I have in front of me, I see kind of a global view. And then for the sales operation persona, who really kind of come behind the scene to bring all of that to life and build the logic for it, we're also empowering them with a set of very strong capability to measure the performance of those interaction campaign, those engagement that they're asking sellers to take, so they can see what's really going on there. Is that really impacting what I want this to impact? Do my seller actually take those actions? And then measure that and improve their guided selling capability over time. So that's AI guided engagement studio, the assistant studio. Today in GA, we have a bunch of very big orgs that are already deploying this and using it. We're obviously using it internally in Microsoft as well. An amazing tool that I encourage you all to kind of try on and start using. And with that, let's move to our kind of last pillar of discussion. And that's how we as an organization monitor and measure ourselves in this digital selling motion. And so I want to start by talking about forecasting, because in the end of the day, right, sales is all about revenue, and revenue stream to the organization that can be predictable. Organization, most sellers know that. You usually do not get in trouble for not delivering your quota, because sometimes it's just hard. But you do get in trouble if you're not able to just give a meaningful forecast for what you're actually going to land. And so I want to kind of introduce you to something we just GA'd recently, a new set of capability around forecasting. We actually have a solution in market today. And our focus capability is starting all the way from pipeline management and the ability to just understand what's going on in your pipeline, upstream to a full-fledged organizational forecasting. We are heavily focused on delivering enterprise-grade forecasting. So that means very open, very easy to customize and configure to your own need. Roll up on different fields and change a lot of those core aspects that are impacting forecasting. But we haven't stopped at the bottom-up forecasts, which again is still it's one of the core pillar of forecasting. We also wanted to introduce the kind of premium forecasting capability and give you that extra edge that you need in order to actually be very well in forecasting. As part of that, we have forecast snapshots, so you can actually see changes over time and see exactly what deal has moved from one bucket to the other. Where do we see maybe stuff that have, for some reason, kind of went out of our committed to, or came in. The other piece that we kind of invested heavily here, we're an AI first technology company, and so heavily invested in some of the most advanced capability around predictive forecasting and the ability to understand both, the deals that you have in the pipe, what's the likelihood of them to convert, and then for all of your kind of unborn deals, the deals that are not yet in the pipe, but probably going to land within the time period, how many of them we're kind of expecting to see, and then be able to actually give you a reasonable assumption for what is your likelihood of hitting your quota in a given point of time. And we do that both on the, on the organizational level and per sellers, and we even give you recommendation about what should be your, what should be your quota attainment based on those predictions. So all of that is part of our solution, and I'm again encouraging you all to kind of come and use it. Soon, Bharat is going to give you an amazing demo of it. But before I kind of wrap up on this monitoring and ability to understand what's going on, I want to touch on another aspect, conversation intelligence. in the digital domain, in the digital world, we are more than just capable to, in measuring those conversations. We can actually understand and learn from them a lot. We've internally in Microsoft deployed those sets of capability and seen tremendous improvement into our selling motion through using that technology. So we monitor what type of key, keywords are being mentioning, what type of competitors are being mentioning, what's the sentiment in the overall conversation, and then we go one level down and we allow a team manager to understand what's going on his team. What are the best sellers doing versus what are the non so best sellers are doing, and how can you coach them to become better? We also give that capability for the sellers themselves, because one thing we know about sellers is that they really love learning from each other. And so what we give them is the ability to actually see what top sellers are doing so they can improve on those critical conversations. So without further ado, Bharat, take it away.
Thanks, Amit. Hello all. In this next demo, we are going to focus on how forecasting and conversation intelligence capabilities in the Dynamics 365 application helps sales teams monitor their pipeline and coach their teams to win more deals. We are going to be looking at two key personas. One is Alicia, who is a VP of sales, and the other is Sven, a manager leading a team of inside sales reps and reporting to Alicia. Alicia, as the VP of sales, has three objectives. One, she wants to keep track of how her sales pipeline looks like. Second, she wants to track how those pipelines are going to help her achieve the sales targets for a team. And third, whenever there is a gap between her pipeline and the sales targets, she wants to identify which of her teams needs help in achieving their targets and make sure that she can reach out to those teams. Let's see how our forecasting capabilities help Alicia. Our forecasting capabilities in Dynamics 365 Sales are enterprise-grade capabilities built from the ground up. This means that Alicia can build her forecast and analyze her pipeline either from the perspective of her organization hierarchy or based on her territories. In this example, Alicia is looking at her forecast and pipeline based on her organization hierarchy. She can drill down into individual teams and to the level of individual sales reps within those teams to see how their pipeline is shaping up and how they match with their targets. For example, as she focuses on the team led by Sven, she can see that Sven is well on track to reach his targets. They have already won 40% of their targets, and their pipeline looks very healthy. To get additional confidence, she can also use the prediction that provided by the forecasting capabilities in Dynamics 365 for sales. The prediction capabilities use AI and insights on top of historical data as well as the pipeline information to provide confidence about whether this team will hit their targets or not. As she looks at this pipeline, she also realizes that some of her pipeline have changed significantly in the past week, and Alicia can quickly look at the deal flow analysis to see what has changed. When she notices some of these changes, she wants to drop a note to Sven to look into some of these details. She can quickly add a note to Sven, who, upon looking at these details, can then figure out why some of the opportunities have moved across the pipeline between different stages. And he can use the conversation intelligence features in the application to figure out who within his team needs help to manage those opportunities. The conversation intelligence features help Sven quickly figure out that within his team, Jeff might need more help based on an analysis of recordings of his call with the rest with his customers. Based on the insights from the conversation intelligence app, Sven can quickly set up one-on-ones with Jeff to provide the right insights for them to succeed. That's what we have as demo for today's call. We have a lot of resources available online for you to learn more about these features. There are also a ton of resources available to ramp up more about our product, to learn more about our product, and try it out first before you can actually use it in production. Thanks for joining our call and spending time with us today.
Thank you, everyone.